Good evening and welcome back to 360 Sports. Today we're going to be talking all things NFL. I'm your host, Caden Gill, and I'm joined by Jacob, Jack, and Nick. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
All good, man. You know, post-whiteout, getting back into the swing of things.
Oof.
Good talking to some NFL immediately.
Yeah, rough weekend for us Penn Staters, falling to Oregon in the whiteout. But we're talking NFL today, not talking college football. You know the drill. Let's start with our headlines. Only two undefeated teams left. Eagles and Bills both are 4-0. Both picked up dubs on Sunday. Which of these teams do you see remaining undefeated the longest? And what team could potentially end their run? We'll start with you, Jacob.
For me, I'm going to have to go with the Bills, who would possibly stay undefeated the longest because their division is really bad. I mean, they've got two easy matchups. I mean, that's 6 easy matchups right there with all those different teams. However, both of them going down the line, there's not many matchups they should really struggle with looking at, which is kind of crazy. It feels like for both of them, it was very front heavy with their tougher matchups, like a couple other teams like the Ravens and stuff like that. They're going through that too. But yeah, I don't see how either of these teams lose more than 3 or 4 games this season.
Yeah, absolutely. The Bills have the Patriots, Falcons, Panthers are the next 3 matchups, and then the Chiefs at home. That could be a toss-up. We know Josh Allen struggles to beat Mahomes, but not in the regular season. It's been the playoffs where he struggled. Jack, how about you?
For me, I think there's a couple questions we need to consider. I think the Bills will stay undefeated for longer. However, I think Philly's a better team, and I don't even think it's relatively close. The Bills have the 5th easiest schedule this year. The Eagles have the 4th hardest. Therefore, obviously, the Bills are going to rack up more wins. But you know, the Bills' opponents, a combined 1-9, excluding the Bills' wins so far this year. And that's, of course, excluding the teams that play tonight. Eagles' opponents, 9-2-1, excluding the games in which Philly beat them. I don't really know what teams are going to knock them off. It could easily be Mahomes in Kansas City for Buffalo. But I think the Eagles are the better team. I think Buffalo will stay undefeated for longer.
Yeah, before we go to Nick, the Eagles next week in week 5 have a home game against the Broncos. Broncos will see how they look tonight.
Yep.
But after that, it's the Giants twice and the Vikings, so not too much comp there. But then we talked about the Eagles have a rough schedule. That's when it kicks back in. Packers, Lions, Cowboys. So while the Bills might technically lose a game first because they play their hardest team November 2nd, and the Eagles will see the Packers November 10th, I think the Bills, honestly, if they beat the Chiefs, could have a potential chance to go undefeated. I really do, looking at the rest of their schedule. Obviously, it's the NFL. Anybody can beat anyone. But, Nick, how are you feeling?
For me, I think the Eagles are probably the team to lose first. Coming from an Eagles fan, it's tough to say that, but they've looked elite and they've looked awful. Like, there's been no really gray area for them where they've been okay or average or whatever. So for me, I think it's them, but I really don't see in their next 4 games where they really lose a game. The toughest game they got coming is the Broncos at home, but the Broncos are coming cross country off a short week. I really don't see them losing that game. Maybe the Vikings, but I really don't see them losing there. And then for the Bills, I mean, their toughest game before they go to Kansas City is Atlanta, and Atlanta's been really shaky. We don't know what Michael Penix really is yet. So I really don't see any of these teams losing until maybe week 10, 11. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure one of these guys will slip up in a close game, to a lesser team. But for now, I mean, I see both these teams ending with probably 3 losses at minimum.
Yeah. Wait, off your point, just for the Bills, I think they've been so impressive this year to me. I think they've been way more convincing. That offense looks even better somehow. James Cook has been worth every single penny they gave him. He's just such an unbelievable runner. His vision, his speed. And then you see him making plays through the air. Unbelievable. Khalil Shakir, yak. He's a yak god out there, man. He's usually doing things that nobody should be doing. I think the Bills are the more impressive team in my eyes just because the Eagles are so loaded all around, but I think the Eagles are still going to be the champs.
Do you guys think which team has a higher ceiling? We'll put it that way.
Philly, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I would agree.
I think it's hard to disagree with Philly. I mean, they got better this year coming into the season. I don't see how you knock them off for that.
Philly can beat you in so many ways. I mean, you got Saquon, Goddard, Smith, Brown. I mean, Saquon hasn't even really got going yet. He's averaging 3.1 yards a carry. At this point last year, he was averaging 6 yards a carry. So I really think once Philly gets Barkley going and you get A.J. Brown going, because that's really been the X factor for them, is A.J. Brown, in the one game he's went off, and he has more than 2 receptions, the offense looks unstoppable. But when he has 2 receptions, 1 reception for 7, 8 yards, whatever it is, they look awful. So they got to get A.J. Brown involved, and the sky is the limit for them.
Plus, Philly special teams is playing off the charts right now. 2 blocked kicks against the Rams. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is like a new level we are seeing from the Eagles all around the football. Imagine when AJ and Saquon started to get going. Oh, my God.
Yeah. What is up with these blocked kicks? We saw one on
I don't know.
Sunday Night Football. We saw 2 more during the games, the early afternoon games. Special teams is
It's
what's
back.
going on?
Special teams is back, man.
Yeah. Special teams is important. That's how you win football games.
3 phases of the game, yeah.
Two back-to-back weeks for the Eagles. They blocked 2 kicks, and then they blocked a punt to start the game against the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
They only ended up winning by 5 points or 6 points, whatever it was, but that touchdown was crucial.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's go to the Chargers, Colts, and Niners, all of which lost their undefeated records in week 4. Which of these 3 teams is the best, or are all 3 of them contenders?
Ooh. I'm going to go with the Colts being the best team of the 3. It's crazy to say that, but 2025 Daniel Jones is looking legit. I mean, I had to suffer through Giants Daniel Jones, so it's kind of crazy to see him perform like this. But Jonathan Taylor is playing out of his mind so far this year. Yesterday was his most tame game, and he had just about 100 rushing yards. He's been breaking records so far this year. Pretty solid defense. Tyler Warren's making an impact as a rookie tight end. I just think the Colts are the best all-around team that we're going to see among those 3.
Yeah, Jacob, how about you?
Touching up on your point, the Colts, man, this is like the most fun I've ever had watching. This is like D'Lo and Jared Dudley's Jets vibe going. I mean, these guys got me watching them cheering like I'm not a Jets fan. Like, I don't know. But out of those 3, I will say I think the Chargers are the best team out of those 3. Now, with those injuries to the O-line, Alt and Slater both down, we'll see how they find a way to recover. Because, I mean, the Giants were just tearing them apart. Yeah. I mean, Hampton still kept it going, but Herbert was in trouble out there. He was going down play after play. So I want to say the Chargers, but I don't think I'm going to go that direction purely because the O-line. I think the Niners are still a great team. Kyle Shanahan's offense. I will say the Niners for the purpose that their offense still hasn't gotten going yet. This is a Kyle Shanahan offense, and they do not have a rushing touchdown through 4 games, which is unbelievable. Yeah. They are really missing George Kittle right now. He is that guy, that lead blocker for them. Yeah, they're down a lot of guys, and they're still 3-1 right now.
Yeah,
they're ahead of their division. I think they've got off to a great start. It's just been a sloppy performance every week for them. It feels like they need a game-winning play every single week. I think this last game was just the sloppiest game they could have played. Yeah. It was a winnable game. Once again, they did not deserve to win that game. They just lost themselves out of that game. 49ers 3-1, a lot of missing pieces coming back soon. I'm going to say they're the best of the 3.
Yeah, I agree that the fact that Justin Herbert gives the Chargers probably the higher ceiling in the AFC. You really need those elite quarterbacks to hang in with those tough defenses in the postseason. And while Daniel Jones has looked better than he was in New York, rather, I think that his overall ceiling as a quarterback might limit the Colts offense. You see a lot of checkdowns to Jonathan Taylor. And granted, it's working, but I think as the season progresses, defenses will be able to kind of hone in on that. They have a lot of guys on offense. We mentioned Tyler Warren, but they don't have that one alpha receiver. There's a lot of Alec Pierce. You have Adonai Mitchell. You have Josh Downs. None of those guys are really alpha wide receiver 1. So I think that could also be a potential ding on them going into the later parts of the season. Nick, how about you?
I'm going to have to agree with you. I think the Chargers are the best team out of this bunch. I think what you have to look at is the Chargers. They beat the Broncos and the Chiefs so far, who are the better teams in the AFC. And then, I mean, the Colts, they haven't really beaten anybody, but they did go toe-to-toe with a top 3 team in the NFC, in my opinion, the Rams this week. But I think Danny Dimes is really the question mark. If you look at both those offenses, you have Ladd McConkey, you have Quentin Johnson, who's honestly, he's emerged this year. He's struggled with drops in the past. He looks a lot better. You have Keenan Allen back, one of Herbert's favorite targets. We know what they can do. And Amari Hampton, who looks solid. Yeah. And then when you go to the Colts, Jonathan Taylor is playing out of his mind right now, but they have so many question marks on that offense. Yeah. And I think they don't have a legit one. Michael Pittman could be that guy. He really never turned into it. So I really think that the Chargers are the best because of what they have on offense. And they still have guys on defense. Khalil Mack can still play. Derwin James in the back end. They still have guys who can play. And then if you look at the 49ers, I think they're frauds, guys. I mean, when it comes to them, they've been injured so far. No Kittle, no Ayuk, but Purdy's been hurt. But they have an easy schedule. They have a cakewalk schedule. They haven't played anybody yet.
The easiest, mind
literally.
you.
I mean, they don't play. Their biggest test is the Rams this week on a short week, followed by the Bucs. But before that, they played the Cardinals, the Seahawks, just teams that aren't good football teams. And I think for them, I want to see them walk into a test before I claim them legit.
I agree with your point that it hasn't been the toughest schedule yet, but good teams find ways to win football games. They've done that so far.
Yeah, definitely true.
But when it comes to the playoffs, the 49ers face a good team. Say they run into Philly. Say they run into Detroit. They're going to get steamrolled just purely because this team just doesn't look like it can get the motor going. So when they run into a brick wall that is that Philadelphia Eagles defense, it's not going to go too good.
You also got to remember Nick Bosa's out for the year. That really hurts their pass rush. I mean, that's 15 sacks and a guy you have to double team every play or game plan at least for.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's stay in the AFC. Chiefs dominated the Ravens at home 37-20. They got back to 500 on the season. Lamar left the game with a hamstring injury, they're calling it. Team fell to 1-3 on the year. Can the Ravens turn this around, or is time running against them?
I will say it's much more than Lamar. He was one of 5 Ravens to leave that matchup and not return, along with Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, Roquan Smith, and Ronnie Stanley. 5 guys who I think are all in Baltimore's top 10. We can argue that at a separate time. But I think those are all incredible players on this Baltimore Ravens team. Having them all fall, in addition to Van Noy and Ricard not playing, Madubuike now being placed on season-ending IR. I mean, the Ravens are in a tough spot depending on the severity of these injuries. I say the AFC is at an all-time low right now. It's a very weak conference. So the comeback's possible, but the Ravens in a really tough spot.
Yeah, certainly the injuries don't help, but if you look at their remaining record, they can very easily turn this around. I think they need to protect Lamar better. I think the Chiefs are not an easy defense to pass protect against. We know that, but Lamar was running for his life. And just because Lamar is a good runner doesn't mean he should be having to run for his life basically every snap, it felt like. You want him to be fresh so that he can extend those plays, be explosive, instead of running for his life in pass protection. Nick, how are you feeling?
I mean, the Ravens, it might be time to hit that panic button. I mean, we don't know the severity of Lamar's injury yet, but soft tissue injuries, they linger. Like, Lamar can feel good in 2 weeks and say, my hamstring's at 100%. He runs a little too hard or plants the wrong way.
Yeah.
He's going to tweak his hamstring again. So, like, I don't know if Lamar is going to be, like, what his presence is going to be. Is he going to be able to kill teams with his legs when he has to? Or is he going to have to be in that pocket? We know he can throw in the pocket, but I'm just worried. And then they have so many injuries at this point. And, I mean, they haven't had a couple of tests. You have the Bills, Lions, and Chiefs, like, all really tough games. But if you're a good team, you got to win at least one of those.
Yeah.
Like, they lost all 3. Like, a good team would have squeaked one of them out. They completely threw the game against the Bills. I really think it's going to come down to is if how bad is the NFC North going to be? Because that's their main concern now. They've only played the Browns so far. They still have 5 division games left. Like, they have to win at least 4 of those. They want a shot. And with Cooper Rush compared to Lamar Jackson, it's a big drop off. So I would definitely hit the panic button down in Baltimore.
Yeah, since switching over to the new format, only 5 teams have made the playoffs, starting 1-3.
Ooh.
But with that being said, I cannot see a Harbaugh and Lamar-led Ravens not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think that's a tough task. They are another team that was front-heavy within their tough matchups. I think they'll figure out eventually. Hopefully, they spent a lot of money on that defense. Now there's all those injuries across the board. We'll see how that goes on the rest of the season. But, yeah, hopefully the Lamar injury isn't something serious.
I think they need to get Derrick Henry going. I think that was a huge part of their offense last year. Touchdown machine, who's breaking off those big runs. I think the problem is that I'm not seeing as many read options from Lamar because read options, they take away an extra defender. The defensive end has to stay home on Lamar or he's going to go for 10, 20, 30 touchdown. And I'm not really seeing that in their offense. It's a lot of dropbacks. And like you said, Lamar can throw. Do not disrespect Lamar's arm. He's a great quarterback throwing downfield. But those feet he has extremely dangerous. And I think that there's some offensive retooling that needs to go on in Baltimore if they want to turn this around.
The thing that makes Lamar so special is his versatility. He can pull off whatever he physically wants to. When you give defenses that straightforward, this is what we're running, taking out those options, it really gives them a better idea of how to stop it.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to wrap up our headlines and head to the board for our Player of the Week segment. Another week of NFL season. Saw some electric performances from our best players in the league. We're going to head to the board and give our 360 Sports Players of the Week. Jacob,
let's do it.
Send us off.
For mine, I won't forget, they tried shipping this guy out of L.A.
Uh-oh.
Mine's is going to be Matt Stafford. Bring him up. 37 years old, second in the league in yards, and he's somewhere up there in touchdowns, I think third. He's got 375 yards last week, 3 touchdowns, and 88-yard touchdown to win the game. This guy, I don't see how you can say he's not a top 5 quarterback. I mean, he does everything you could ask for a quarterback on the field. The vision, the IQ, the arm talent. Are you serious? I think when we talk about Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes in those conversations about the most skilled quarterbacks ever, Matt Stafford's right there with them all the time, all day. And another point I got to point out, Puka Nacua might be the Triple Crown winner
He's
this
a
game.
dog.
Triple Crown winner this season. If Matt Stafford has 2 guys that get the Triple Crown, let's show him some love.
Yeah, totally agree. I think the most impressive thing about Matt Stafford is the ability to make so many different throws with that arm angle of his. He can manipulate the defense and those, passing lanes so effectively. It's very impressive.
Yeah, he's mastered that no look throw. It's pretty nasty. He's mastered it.
He's got that down.
All right, Jack, you're next.
Alrighty. Now, I don't know if this is going to be, the most underrated player on the board per se, but a lot of people who slept in post-whiteout may have forgotten to switch up their fantasy lineups. Jalen Warren was out. How about Kenneth Gainwell stepping up? 134 yards, 2 touchdowns to give Pittsburgh a 24-21 win over the Minnesota Vikings to advance to 3-1. A guy making his first start for Pittsburgh, really popping off, making his name known in Dublin, the first NFL game ever hosted there. Now, the Irish, all they're going to know is Kenneth Gainwell is a dog.
Yeah, they're going to think that Kenneth Gainwell was out here moving like prime
Emmitt
Barry
Smith,
Sanders.
man. This guy looked ridiculous out there. I mean, I don't know if someone started him in fantasy this week. I don't know what you were doing starting him, but yeah, great
I'm
for
in
you.
a 32-man league and started Kenneth Gainwell this week. Look at me.
Did you win?
Yeah, by 50. I think I won 93 to 44 or something like that.
Jeez.
There we go.
But 30 of those from Gainwell, mind you.
Got half the points. Nick, take it away.
All right, so my player of the week, none other than, we already mentioned him, Puka Nacua. Talking about fantasy, carried me in fantasy this week. He had 13 receptions for 170 yards and a touchdown. He's currently leading the league with 42 receptions and 503 yards. He's on pace to go over 2,000 yards. I mean, this might be Cooper Kupp Triple Crown 2.0. I mean, he's on fire, and he is the best receiver in the league at this moment. And honestly, I don't know who's going to stop him.
Yeah. Puka is on a tear, and you're so right about this Matthew Stafford. 2 Triple Crown winners with that
gets him
that
up
goes
there.
to his legacy undoubtedly.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think going off Puka, man, I don't see why we don't have him in the conversation with Jamar and Justin Jefferson.
Right now, I would argue he is.
Yeah.
Well, last year he was hurt. He missed a lot of games, but right now he's the 1-1 right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so.
The crazy thing is he's doing that sharing targets with Devontae Adams, who's one of the most prolific receivers of the 2010s. It's crazy he's doing this splitting targets.
Yeah, Kyron Williams is getting his share on the ground as well. So
I feel like we could sit here and talk about the Rams all day. I mean, they're my pick for the championship this year. I think
get me started on the defense.
Oh my gosh, the
Jared
defense,
Verse.
they're hungry, they're young, they're hungry. They play with some passion. We love a good defense on the show. We love it.
We love the Rams.
all right, I will finish us off here.
Let's go, Kaden.
My player of the week. You already know where this is going. If you know me, baby.
Couldn't guess it.
Number 4 down in Dallas.
Oh.
Amazing game out of Dak Prescott last night against the Packers. The biggest thing that stood out to me is 40 pass attempts, 31 completions, 319 yards, 4 total touchdowns. That's cute box score. But pre and post snap, Dak Prescott was so effective last night. And if you've paid attention and really watched film, you understand that this is nothing new. Pre and post snap processing has been one of his biggest strengths throughout his entire career. We've seen the greatest defensive minds in football, Vic Fangio, Brian Flores, Bill Belichick. They have all praised him for his ability to take what the defense is, showing pre-snap, being proactive and saying, okay, is this going to be cover 1 that turns into cover 2? Are they going to drop 3? Are they going to rush 5? He's not surprised by pressure. And he's doing this without CeeDee Lamb, his number 1 guy in Dallas. It didn't end in a win. As frustrating as that is, when you score 40 points, mind you, Packers in their first 3 games, Packers defense allowed 44 total points in 3 games. Dak put up 40 on him. I thought he played lights out last night, couldn't get the win, but doing this without CeeDee Lamb, I really hope opens up NFL fans and mainstream media to praising Dak Prescott, because if you ask me, there aren't a lot of guys doing it better than he is right now.
Yeah, I think Dak has been like the most fun story of the season so far, just to the fact that everyone wrote him off. They're like, is he really that guy? Should they draft a quarterback?
Well, the Cowboys in general, I mean, they're not perfect. It's the worst defense in the league through 4 games, but it's the best offense in the league through 4 games. Can one regress? Can one progress? We're going to see. But speaking of that game, that moves us perfectly into our next segment, ties in the NFL. Sunday Night Football, we saw a 40-40 tie. 2 field goals were kicked in the overtime period. In the big 2025, gentlemen, should ties be a thing in the NFL? And if not, what should the NFL add or take away to fix it? We'll start with you, Jacob.
To me, I feel like the ties are a part of the game for so long. I personally do not want to see them go away from it because of the fact that it's been there for so long. I think it's like you've got OT, you've seen all these other sports always changing things around. I like how the NFL tries to keep it simple. I mean, I get the point that you want to see a winner at the end of a football game. It ruins the fun and the excitement of who's going to win this game. But it's like these guys, they dropped 40 points each. I don't think anyone deserved to win this game, honestly. They both balled out.
That's an interesting take. I would argue that this is pro football. This is the highest of highs. These guys are putting their bodies and minds on the line every single snap. That was almost a 4-hour game. Started at 8:20, ended past midnight. There needed to be a winner. I don't think we see enough ties, and especially ties on the big stage like this. You know, maybe we'll see Jacksonville and, you know, Tennessee finishing a tie, and everyone's like, okay, like it's.
Yeah.
But when you have a 40-point shootout, Micah versus his old team, all these storylines, it just makes it like, dang, there needed to be a resolution, you know? And it feels like it's just frustrating to say, time's up, nobody wins, everyone go home.
Nobody's happier than Jerry Jones right now.
What do you think, Jack?
All right, I'm going to need all of you to, buckle your seatbelts, put your hard hats on for this one. This has been an idea I've had for years.
All right, let's hear it.
So you guys know Justin Reed, Kansas City Chiefs. Yep. During practice, he would take kicking attempts towards the field goal post. This has been my thought for literally years. So we keep the original overtime period, whether it's 10, 15 minutes, whatever the league wants it to be. By all means, go ahead. If still tied after that, I say we go to a kicker shootout, almost like soccer penalties. Each player can only be used once. So that gives you an incentive, like the Kansas City Chiefs did with Justin Reed, to make somebody else know how to kick a football. Either keep a backup kicker, keep your punter ready to go, or like a Justin Reed, you alternate field goal attempts until someone misses. You go maybe 15 to 25 to 35. I think it'd be so fun.
Man, I would lose my mind. If I was watching a Jet game and I watched Bruce Hall miss the game-winning kick, oh my God.
Yeah.
That's why it's fun.
Yeah.
There's definitely an element of fun there, but I'm going to have to veto that if I'm
Don't forget, this is the no fun league we're talking about.
That's true.
Yeah, Goodell would not let that fly. Nick, how do you feel about this?
I like Jack's idea, but honestly, like this isn't like baseball where the All-Star game where they had the swing off. Like this is a legit football. Like this has playoff implications. Could you imagine a team losing like the 7th seed in the wild card because they lost a kickoff battle? Like they have to
keep in mind how rare it is that we get past the original overtime.
That is
this
true.
Is like a crazy situation, but I think
I do understand.
Something needs to happen.
No, I think it's fine the way it is. The only other thing you could do is you go 10 minutes and then you have to play. You get 1 2-point conversion. Each team gets 1 2-point conversion. Someone has to make a play.
I do like
so
that.
College rules, but short.
Just no. You get one team offense defense.
So
one
what happens
time.
if they both make
Still a tie? Like that's their one solution.
Yeah.
Like these guys are playing 70 minutes of football at that point. Like you have to look at player safety at one point, and I think ties are a part of the game. Like this isn't college where they don't factor in tiebreakers like that, and it's all different.
Yeah.
Like there's so many tiebreakers that if the tie is just it's a part of the tiebreakers. Like you just got to live with it. And if you wanted to win, you would have made a play earlier. I look at it that way. I mean, both teams last night, somebody could have punched in a touchdown.
Yeah.
The Packers didn't have enough time to score a touchdown. They played conservative. They wanted to play aggressive. They could have scored a touchdown and won that game, but they decided to settle for a tie.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. I do wish they would make the quarters a little longer, at maybe 15 minutes.
I think 15 minutes and 3 timeouts each.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's the player safety at that point. 75 minutes is a lot of football.
Is a lot of football.
And what a better way to keep the player safe than have your backup right tackle kick a 35-yarder.
I mean, you're technically not wrong.
Until he pulls his groin and misses 3 weeks.
Yeah, and then you have a backup right guard protecting your quarterback. So who knows? You see situations where with overtime rules where Josh Allen, doesn't get the ball back and nobody really bats an eye, and then Mahomes doesn't get the ball back and it's like,
we got to change the rules.
We got to change the rules. So maybe, I don't know if anybody on the Cowboys or the Packers is influential enough for Roger Goodell to be like, no more ties, but
Jerry Jones is. I'll
That
tell
is-
you that much.
That is true.
Jerry,
Kobe.
he's
a
an
powerful
influential
man.
man. But let's move on to our final segment, Monday Night Football. We've got a double header tonight, gentlemen. I don't know how to feel about 2 Monday Night Football games, but I guess more football is not a
More
bad
football,
thing.
the better, right?
Starting off, Jets and Dolphins, I want to preface before we give our picks. This is the 3rd time in Monday Night Football history that both teams are 0-3 or winless, rather. I mean,
What a masterclass.
let's
Yeah.
who are we taking? Who are we taking?
All right, this one
Who's
is
getting the
this is
first
a
one?
weird game because both of these teams thrive against man, and both of them play man. Garrett Wilson, Tyreek Hill, oh my God, I was about to say Jeremiah Waddle, Jalen Waddle. Both of them thrive against man. I mean, Jalen Waddle's been killing this team, averaging over 70 yards a game against the Jets. The Jets look like a little bit of a mess. I won't lie, that defense looks horrendous, right up there with the Cowboys. But so are the Dolphins.
Catching straight.
Tua, I'm sorry, he's not that guy. However, I do think the Jets will be able to edge out in this game because I think it depends on how Justin Fields is going to play coming off that concussion. But I do feel like they are the better team in this matchup. We'll just see how the stars come out and play.
I genuinely could not have said it any better. I have Jets beating the Finns 34-32. So right there. But they're both bottom 4 defenses in terms of points per game. Both have very high ceiling offenses. Haven't quite reached the potential yet consistently. I think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got the Jets 23-20. I think that rushing attack is going to be the difference. We want to talk about the Dolphins secondary. I think there's going to be some overcompensating there, and I think the Jets ground attack is going to get going with Brees and Justin now that he's back from that concussion.
I haven't heard this much Jets love in my entire life.
I know.
This is awesome.
Uh-oh.
I could get used to this.
The Jets love is
boy.
going to stop. I'm going to
There we
swim
go.
my way over to Miami. I'm going to take the Dolphins. Listen, the Dolphins are at home in this matchup. I think we have to factor that. We know the Dolphins play well in warm weather, so I'm going to give them that. But both teams look awful, but I trust the talent on Miami's offense. We were just talking about Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, Tua. I know Tua's not the same. I think Darren Waller's supposed to play for the first time this weekend.
Interesting.
But Justin Fields also, he's coming off that concussion. He didn't practice till late in the week.
Yeah.
So I'm worried about him. And I think I just have to trust Miami's offense at home against a bad defense. That's my guts telling me. So I'm going to take the Dolphins and be on an island by myself today.
Let's move on to the Bengals and Broncos. Pat Surtain versus Jamar Chase. Got a matchup. Personally, I'm taking the Broncos 31-17. Jacob, what do you think?
I'm with you on that. I think the Broncos should kill this team. Jake Browning didn't look good last game. I don't see how he's going to do good against his defense. I'm more curious on who's going to be the Bengals quarterback before the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I am always going to be ready to put Denver in a winning spot. You said 31-17. I'm going 30-17. Browning obviously not going to be the answer here. Surtain and the Broncos defense is very electric. I think they can notch a couple touchdowns on him, but overall, I think Bo Nix gets it going with Sutton and Franklin. And I really think Engram can also get it going. Drop, 3-4 touchdowns on them. 30-17 is my score.
Nick.
I'm going to go with the Broncos here. I don't really see how the Bengals have really anything going for them. The only thing I would say is T. Higgins can be the X factor for this team. I mean, you're going to see probably Pat Surtain following Jamar Chase the whole game. So, I mean, they got to get T. Higgins going. Like, T. Higgins is the factor, and they got to get Jake Browning going early. If he's not getting going early, it's going to be a rough game for them. And like I said, the Broncos have a good defense, and I just trust their quarterback more. Like, Bo Nix, I wouldn't say he's a good quarterback. He's a decent quarterback with a lot to learn, but I trust him more than Jake Browning. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here pretty easily.
Yeah. We'll enjoy some Monday Night Football tonight. Before we wrap up, special happy birthday announcement to our floor manager, Harlan.
Thank you for all your
How are we feeling? Big 2-1?
Yeah.
Big
2-0.
2-0.
Welcome to the 20s. There we go. That is all we have for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to 360 Sports, talking some NFL today. Make sure you watch our other shows for the rest of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You already know how it goes. From Caden, Jacob, Jack, and Nick, we will see you guys next time.